Hey everyone, I'm Nicole DeSarno and welcome to this episode of Trying to Make It.
This is actually Morse code, and it says Wanderlust, which means a great desire to travel.
Yeah, and that's like your
So, and then that's, yep, and that's how it kind of came up with the name. Hey guys, it's Judith Rojas here, and I'm the creator of Urban Wanderlust Shop, and I'm trying to make it as your favorite candle that sits on your coffee table.
Thank you again so much for having me here.
Thank you so much for coming. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, we'll be here in your
Well,
own
this is my
apartment.
house.
So tell me how you got into this. Tell me the story about how you started getting into making candles out of your home.
So it was completely by accident. One night, Peter and I, my boyfriend, sitting here on the couch, and we were thinking of ways to make extra income on the side, you know, for the future, so we can save to buy a house, or, you know, have a really great honeymoon because we recently got engaged.
Oh my God, congratulations!
Thank you. I don't know where I'm
I was like, where is it?
Whenever I'm making candles, I don't wear it.
That's
because,
honestly probably smart. You know, you don't want to mess
I'll
up.
drop it in the wax
good
and
stuff. Yeah.
I've always been obsessed with candles, reed diffusers, and things like that. And I don't even know how it came to me, but it's just, I should make candles, because one day I melted all the candles that I had in my house, put them together in a jar, and just made one giant monster candle. And I thought, oh, I can do this. I could do this for real. I bought one jar. It comes with a little bit of wax and some wicks. So I thought, why don't I try to make my own? And then one thing led to another. I started YouTubing things, Googling how to make candles, and here we are, like a year later.
All right, guys. So I'm super nervous because I'm here with the candle guru, and we're gonna try and make some candles. I'm gonna try and make a candle.
Yeah, you're gonna make 2 candles.
So I'm gonna make 2 candles. Yeah.
As I learned more about the candles, I learned about fragrance types, the amount of fragrance oils that you actually have to put into the candle. There's a right temperature that you have to burn the wax to. There's a right temperature that you have to pour the fragrance oil into the wax. You have to stir it for at least 2 minutes. All these things that I didn't know when I initially made my first candle, and I thought, this is great.
So what's step 1?
So step 1,
scent?
these were actually in the boxes, so you definitely, what I do, I just kind of like make sure there's no dust inside. I have my little candle. Yeah, I do that too.
Where did you start selling these candles?
So the only place that I sell right now is on Etsy. They do their own marketing, so I don't have to do my own marketing aside from, Facebook or Instagram, things like that.
Okay, so
we have our candles, so now we're gonna take our wick stickers, the Eco 16. So I put this inside, peel off my sticker.
Oh.
So then I try to get it as centered as possible, like right in the middle. And that's it.
I'm revealing
Like that.
all your secrets.
I know.
Oh my God. I'm shaking. I am shaking. Boom, baby.
There
Is
you
that
go.
centered?
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, yours is more in the middle than this one. Look, I'm supposed to be the pro, and this one's a little off.
I'm coming for your brands.
I feel like after this experience, you'll probably go home and look at some of your candles and light some of your candles and realize, oh, it hasn't been burning the right way all these years or whatever.
How did you learn all of that?
A lot of it I learned through Candle Science, which is one of the suppliers that I use. They have an FAQ page, and they have a lot of beginner candle makers that they interview, and they just showed a lot of their trial and errors, what worked, what didn't work. And it was really inspiring just to see, stay-at-home moms, and they wanted an extra income, and how they started and how they learned how to do things. So a lot of it was through that. I'm actually in a lot of group chats within Facebooks that talk about candles. So whenever I had a stupid question or whatever I thought was a stupid question, I would just type it into the forum. And everyone has their own technique. And trust me, I've had a lot of mishaps with the candles in the beginning. I have a notebook that I wrote all of these notes in. Tester candle number 1, poured it at 150 degrees, added fragrance oil at 120, poured it at this temperature. So it's all about, okay, This one had a smooth top. This one looked lumpy. This one looked horrible. This one had really good cold throw or hot throw. And there's all these like terms that candle makers use. Cold throw means before you light a candle, the scent that you smell before you even light it. Hot throw is after you've lit the candle, what does it smell like? Like people would say, oh, well, you know, what's the percentage of FO that you added? And I'm like, what's FO? Fragrance oils.
So we've got our wicks, we've got our warning labels, now what?
So now we burn the wax. The proper way for a candle to burn is all at one level, just sinking down. And you wanna make sure it has a really good melt pool. That's how you know when you have a really good candle. When you burn it and it's done and there's no wax left in the jar, that's a perfect candle. When you are done with your candle and you're throwing it out and there's wax on the edge of the jar, but you have this huge tunnel hole in the middle where the wick has burned, that's not a good candle. So we're gonna fill up one of these little babies. I'll just go right in. So that's in there. We're gonna cover this bad boy up and then we're gonna turn it on here. And I usually warm it up to 250. And we're just gonna wait for it to melt now. And that usually melts in like 5 or 10 minutes.
So how long does making a candle take? Like how long's the whole process?
So I've actually timed myself in the beginning before I had the pot. And from beginning to end, I think it took about like an hour and a half. I use all natural soy candle. I call it vegan. I call it a vegan soy candle simply because I'm not adding anything else aside from the wax, fragrance oil. That's it. Most people, like the candles that you see at Target, or I keep saying Target, but you know, wherever you buy your candles, those are paraben candles and they add additives, they add dyes to change the color, and that changes the structure of the wax itself.
Just standing here, it smells amazing. I don't even know what kind of candle I want to make. I think I might just put this on you. Mostly because I don't want the pressure, so I'm putting all the pressure on you.
The pressure to decide. I don't know. Do you want to go with pomegranate cider since we're like,
Yeah, it's a different one.
Yeah.
Sure.
Pomegranate is the winner.
Yay. Okay.
Good? Okay, cool.
So our wax is all melted.
Yep.
So then the next thing we have to do is pour it directly into the glasses.
No. So we're going to pour it into our pitcher and we're going to let it cool.
So is that something that you think is a great sell point for you? The fact that your candles are vegan and all natural, and like, is that something that consumers are looking for more?
Yeah, I definitely do think, especially in the age of everyone trying to be a little bit more sustainable and they're being more green. People want to eat healthier, they want to live healthier. So why not use things in your home that are going to help you live that greener life, you know? I do much better in the winter than I do in the summer. In the summer, there's a different type of wax that I actually use. It's a Golden brand 464, and there's wax for, 444, and that's what I was using before until I met a girlfriend in the candle forum on Facebook, and she was like, I only use 464 because I'm in Florida and it's always hot here. And it just,
you're like spitting these numbers. I'm like, yeah, 464, obviously. Like, of course you're gonna use that one, duh. Like, how many people are in those chats?
So there's one that has about like maybe 2,000 and some that has like 100,000. And there's just people just talking and switching, you know, throwing ideas at each other and like, hey, my candle looked like this. Here's a picture. What should I do? Yeah, I got it. So this is what I use. Like, see how hot it is in here?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Actually, I did a summer street fair. All of my candles were melting. It was so embarrassing. People, well, not all of them, some of them, people would open them and it was just liquid form melting because it's such a pure wax. It's like there's nothing in there.
What's the candle that sells out the most for you?
So Sea Salt and Orchid, which was a fragrance that I was hesitating on for a while because I just thought, what does sea salt and orchid smell like, you know? The minute I made that, and I made maybe like 24 candles for the street fair, it sold out within an hour. And
I need to smell this candle.
Yeah.
Oh my God, can I get it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Actually, you know what? I don't even think I have one made because it's always selling out. I actually should make some. Maybe we can make some today. I might have a little one. But before I even had that one, my top seller was coconut pineapple, and that was my top selling candle. But I feel like it's more of a summer fragrance.
Yeah.
So people want something a little bit softer, and I feel like sea salt and orchid is something that you can have year round.
Do you know all your candles?
I think I do. I mean, I should, right?
I mean, how many fragrances do you have?
I think I have about 22 if you're counting holiday fragrances and summer fragrances that I kind of flip in and out. I like very musky, woodsy fragrances like tobacco vanilla. And online, it doesn't sell as well as they do in person. But when I do the street fairs, people are loving the aged sandalwood. They're loving the whiskey blends because I have a whiskey blend candle with like honey and caramel all mixed in, and you can actually smell the whiskey in it. So
My mouth is like salivating.
I know.
Just like listening to you talking about it.
it's so weird, but
It's so funny because the cider is really strong in it.
Yeah.
But you get that hint of pomegranate, and then it like makes it like light and sweet.
Yeah.
So it's like this. It's a really interesting scent.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it. Do you ever experiment with like mixing together your own scents? Do you like have a dream at night and you wake up and you're like, oh my god, sandalwood and
yeah.
I don't even know what. Like, you know.
Yeah. I kind of play around with it and I see how two fragrances take to one another and how they kind of like speak to each other. You can't pair two really strong fragrances because it's just gonna sabotage one another. So you want to have something kind of soft and something a little bit more potent and kind of mix it together and see where you land.
How do you decide how much a candle is gonna be?
I actually do have an Excel sheet that I created where I put in all of my costs, how much it costs for the wick, the jar, the lid, the fragrance oil, the box that I put it in. I put all of those expenses into my chart and then it gives me what my base amount for the candle is. So technically a 9-ounce jar, I'm selling it for $18. I should be selling it for a lot more because I'm not factoring in the time that it takes me to make it. I just feel like because if I did, I would end up selling a $40 candle and I just don't think that's realistic for my consumers and who I'm selling it to. Actually, coming up with a price is the hardest part of the business, I think.
So do you ever have any customers who they order a candle, right, and then they want to get the same candle again? Has anyone ever called you and said, you know, this doesn't smell or this doesn't burn the way that my first one did?
No, I've never gotten that because I do stay very consistent and I use some of the pre-made fragrance oils that I use with my vendors.
She a pro.
So.
She's a pro. Every candle is gonna be the best candle you get. And have you ever had any customer nightmares?
Yeah, so I actually, in the beginning, you have a few like flops. I think I get nervous when my closest friends purchase my own candles because then I feel like this is my friend, it has to be super perfect.
Right.
And I've shipped it to them and they're like, oh, it's broken. And the entire jar was completely shattered and I'm like, oh shit. I've had situations where I had a really great interaction with someone on Instagram and we were talking and she was super friendly. We went back and forth. Finally, she made a purchase. I sent her some stuff, a bunch of samples of the tea lights. All the tea lights melted because it was so hot and kind of like melted into each other. There's a lot that goes into it.
It's crazy. You never would think in a million years that that stuff goes into it.
And it's things that you feel like, oh my God, it's so embarrassing. It's gonna look bad. She's gonna leave me a horrible review. And she ended up giving me one of my best reviews and saying, you know, Judith is fantastic. It was great. She went above and beyond to correct the problem. A really good review can make or break you. You know what I mean? Every time I would get a review or a sale, you hear a certain cha-ching, and I would literally get up and just like, oh my God, someone like made a purchase or someone left me a review, and I would be so like palm sweaty, excited, nervous, waiting to read the review because I don't know if they left me a good one or a bad one. Just going through and it's like, oh, okay, they loved it, they like it, they're gonna buy from me again. So it means the world. It really puts your name out there and it encourages other people to come back.
Well, let's go check on our candles.
All right,
because I'm excited.
All right.
Who would you say is your biggest competitor?
I'm a homemade brand and I'm selling on Etsy. So my competitors would be other people selling on Etsy on that platform, people within my neighborhood. I have a good friend that lives in Florida. Hey, Beth.
Hey, Beth.
And then we always like throw ideas at each other and just kind of like say what works and what doesn't work. Sometimes we think so much alike that we kind of have to say, hey, this is what I'm working for spring. What are you working on? And it's like, oh shit, I'm working on the same thing you're doing.
So I'm gonna be cutting my own label now.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's the goal, right? The goal is to get into stores, to go completely retail.
Yeah.
And what store, if you made it in a perfect world, what would be the first store you would want your candles to be sold in?
Oh my God. I feel like you have to think about what store is everywhere, and Target is everywhere. There's a Target everywhere you go. So I feel like getting my candle maybe into Target, getting my candle into Bed Bath & Beyond. I think that would be a dream.
Has your nose,
Yeah, I'm no stuff. Like,
I was gonna say, I'm like, you
Yep.
need to be, I was like, I don't even know what I was gonna say, like desensitized.
Yeah, after a while you just go nose deaf. And I remember one time I was making a candle for someone and I'm like, I don't even smell it. I'm like, babe, do you smell this? And he's like, I don't smell anything right now.
So do you have any big things in the works that you can tell, your viewers about that they can look forward to?
So, I did give you a sneak peek about the car air freshener. So that's something big that I've been trying to work on since I started this brand, because people from the beginning, they were like, do you have car fresheners? Like car air fresheners, like I really want it. I want my car to smell this. Like I can't take the candle with me in the car.
Right.
Don't do that. But yeah, so I'm really excited about that. So I'm testing it right now. I have one in my car and I have a few that I want to give out to my friends. Next thing that I'm working on is the candle massage oil.
Yes, you were
People
talking
have
about
been
that.
asking me for that for the longest, but I want to test it out because if this is something that you're putting on your skin, that's a whole other legal issue, You know, I have my day job. I go to work 8 o'clock in the morning. I get home from work 6 o'clock to work some more. I come here, I start fulfilling orders. I'm making candles, or even if I don't have any orders in, I'm sitting at my computer looking at my website. How can I make it different? How can I refresh it? How can I revamp it?
And it's also cool to put a face to the name.
It really is. It really is.
And to learn who you are and your style and
Yeah.
how you got there, because a piece of you is in these candles,
Yeah.
and that makes it so special for somebody to buy. And every time they burn it, they'll think of you.
I know.
All right, so we have put on the label, and we added our copper tops.
Yep.
And we are all done. I can't believe this.
I'm proud of you. You did a really good job.
Thank you so much.
And yours actually did come out better than mine.
Oh, this is
You're welcome.
This is great.
You are welcome.
So you guys, if you are interested in getting one of Judith's candles, you can get them at
Etsy, and you can find us at urbanwanderlustshop.etsy.com. You can follow us on Instagram at Urban Wanderlust Shop on Instagram and on Facebook. Definitely stay tuned because there could be another giveaway coming up.
Yeah, so make sure you follow and definitely pick up one of these candles. And for anybody who is nervous about getting the pomegranate cider, let me be an honest review and say that they smell amazing. They really, really do. Thank you for letting me come to your home and to film this and to be a part of this episode.
Yeah.
It has been everything.
No, thank you so much for actually wanting to come over and interview me.
But yeah, thank you again. And guys, until next time, see ya.
Bye.